Hello, welcome to the Audiology and Auditory Work Potentials Lab. The director of the lab is Dr. Brett Martin. I'm pleased to introduce our lab to you. I'm Reeti Anthony, a level 3 student, and for today I'm going to be your tour guide. So here we have Dr. Brett Martin, our lab director, and a few welcome notes from her.
Hi, I'm Brett Martin. I'm the director of the Audiology and Auditory Evoked Potentials Lab. Welcome to the lab.
So without any further delay, let's have a short tour of the lab. What do we do in our lab? Our lab primarily focuses on behavioral and neurophysiological processing of auditory information, especially speech. So basically right now when I'm speaking to you, what's happening in your brain, and let's say if you were to speak to me, what's happening in my brain, the areas of activation, that's all that we study. So here is our lab. And it's a quick tour. We have the tympanometer, we have OAE, we have cortical auditory work potentials, we have the GSI audiometer. Those are our buttons that participants use to press button. Like let's say every time they hear a sound, you can ask them, press this button. So here's where our participants are seated. We have the VRA system, and stimulus is presented either through headphones or through insert earphones. And for the most part, our participants are watching a closed caption movie or pressing buttons in response to sounds. Okay, so what does it feel like a day in the lab? So I'm going to give you a quick glimpse into what our daily routines look like. So let's say if we have a participant scheduled for the day, most of our participants are screened already. So they would come to the lab, we would get their verbal consent, and then they go into the double-walled room, and they are seated over there. And depending upon the study, for the most part, if it includes electrophysiology, then they're wearing that electrode cap that you're seeing over here. And the examiner is seated outside, and we present the stimuli through headphones or insert earphones, and we see what's happening in their brain in response to sounds. And then here is the most important room, which is our analysis room. So once we record the data, we take them to the analysis room, and this is where most of our post-hoc analysis are done. So that's extremely important. All our data are stored there, our hard drives, and like most of our information are placed in that room. It's also a fun room because we get to hang in that room. We have our presentations in that room. We have our let's say if we have a guest talker, then that's the room where our lab meetings are held. It's also a fun room because we get to catch up with each other over lunch, or let's say even if someone else is working on their computer, and then you might be like chatting with them as you're having lunch or something like that. So lots and lots of memories in that room. So here we have two of our lab mates, Hanji and Polina. So Hanji.
Hi, I'm Hyunji. I'm level 3 doctoral student in Auditory and Auditory Evoked Potential Lab. I'm interested in auditory temporal processing in speech perception and how speech sounds are encoded in the human auditory system. I've been involved in an amazing research project investigating the neural mechanisms underlying the processing of temporal information of speech sounds in normal hearing and hearing impaired listeners. In particular, we are focusing on cochlear implant listeners who have damaged auditory system structures and used to hear using limited numbers of electrodes. Also, we will extend the different clinical populations such as bimodal listeners who use both hearing aid and cochlear implant.
Hi, my name is Polina Sheminsky. I'm a level 3 student here at Speech, Language, and Hearing Science program. I am with Audiology and Auditory Potentials Lab. My interests are in the area of auditory training and auditory rehabilitation for older adults with hearing loss. And my background is in audiology. I'm a licensed audiologist. And I'm currently working on a project looking at clear speech and how it affects speech perception in older adults with hearing loss.
Thank you, Hanji and Polina, for your contribution. Here we have some other lab mates of ours. Lisa is interested in cochlear implants. Hani is interested in otitis media, and Ashley, who's interested in infant-directed speech. And here is an image, a picture that was taken during one of our lab meetings. Lab meetings are a lot fun. That's the place when some of us get to see each other, because on a daily, like on a regular week, each of us have our own schedules, but it's during those lab meetings that we get to meet each other and get to know about what's happening with your research, any updates, any progress, and things like that. But then for the most part, we'll also have like other peers whom you might be seeing on a daily basis, depending upon what your schedule is. But that's like lab meetings are when you'll see like a lot of them, and our lab meetings are on Wednesday around 10. So that's that for the most part. Oh, I have a visitor. Okay, so that's my son, and looks like he needs me. I'm gonna go, but yes, kids are welcome in the lab. And for the most part, like when I was doing my data analysis of my dissertation, my kids, the older is now 3, the younger is now 1, they were around in the lab on all weekends. This is pre-COVID. So and they have their own buddies, because there are other students in the lab students in the department who bring in their kids as well. So sometimes they get to say hi to each other and watch their peers grow along. It's fun. So on that note, I wish you the very best, and if you have any questions or if you require additional information, feel free to reach out to Dr. Martin at bmartin@gc.cuny.edu. Other than that, hoping to see you soon. All the very best. Take care.